Talk 63. A high officer asked if juniors are promoted over oneself. The mind is perturbed. Will the inquiry, "Who am I?" help the man to soothe the mind under such circumstances? Maharashi. Yes, quite so. The inquiry, "Who am I?" turns the mind inward and makes it calm. Devotee. I have faith in Murti Dhyan, worship of form. Will it not help me to gain jnana? Maharishi. Surely it will. Upasana helps concentration of mind. Then the mind is free from other thoughts and is full of the meditated form. The mind becomes it, and thus quite pure. Then think, who is the worshipper? The answer is I, that is the self. So the self is gained ultimately. The present difficulty is that the man thinks that he is the doer. But it is a mistake. It is the higher power which does everything, and the man is only a tool. If he accepts that position, he is free from troubles. Otherwise, he quotes them. Take, for instance, the figure in a Gopuram, temple tower, where it is made to appear to bear the burden of the tower on its shoulders. Its posture and look are a picture of great strain while bearing the very heavy burden of the tower. But think, the tower is built on the earth and it rests on its foundation. The figure, like Atlas bearing the earth, is a part of the tower, but is made to look as if it bore the tower. Is it not funny? So is the man who takes on himself the sense of doing. Then the Malayalam version of Uladu Narpadu was read out by a devotee for the benefit of the visitor. After hearing it, he asked, "What about the reference to duality in practice and unity at the end?" Maharishi. Some people think that one must begin practice with dualistic idea. It refers to them. They say that there is God. The man must worship and meditate. Ultimately, the jiva merges into God. Others say that the Supreme Being and the jiva are always apart and never merge into each other. Howsoever it may be, at the end, let us not trouble ourselves about it now. All are agreed that the jiva is. Let the man find out the jiva, that is, his self. Then there will be time to find out if the self should merge in the Supreme, is a part thereof, or remains different from it. Let us not forestall the conclusion. Keep an open mind, dive within, and find out the self. The truth will itself dawn upon you. Why should you determine beforehand if the finality is unity absolute or qualified or duality? There is no meaning in it. Ascertainment is now made by logic and by intellect. The intellect derives light from the self, the higher power. How can the reflected and partial light of the intellect envisage the whole and the original light? The intellect cannot reach the self, and how can it ascertain its nature? Such is the significance of the reference. Devotee. One of the stanzas says that the scriptures so scrupulously studied in the earlier stages are ultimately of no use. At what stage do they become useless? Maharishi. When their essence is realized, the scriptures are useful to indicate the existence of the higher power, the self, and the way to gain it. Their essence is that much only. When that is assimilated, the rest is useless. But they are voluminous, adapted to the development of the seeker. As one rising up in the scale finds the regions one has passed to be only steps to the higher stage, and so on, the steps ascended become Purupaksh successively until the goal is gained. When the goal is reached, it remains alone, and all the rest becomes useless. That is how the Shastras become useless. We read so much. Do we remember all that we read? But have we forgotten the essentials? The essential soaks in the mind and the rest is forgotten. So it is with the Shastras. The fact is